Hi, my name's Nick and welcome to the Painter's Mess. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through some quick and easy 3D sculpting to help you remember some of the rules or war gear that you give your units in Warhammer 40k, 30k, Kill Team, Necromunda, any of those games. Let's go make a mess. So if you've played 30k or 40k in the last 5 or so years, you know that sometimes it's very difficult to remember all of the rules that your army has, or maybe all the war gear that you've equipped them with. Or maybe you want to pick up a new game like Kill Team, or maybe you're converting from 40k to 30k and you're trying to learn all the rules and all the equipment that your units can be equipped with, and it is very difficult and sometimes it's a lot. And there are things that'll never change between the games, like a +1 to wound, +1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 to hit, stuff like that. Those are all universal. And today I'm going to make a couple 3D tokens that you can make at home if you want to make your own specific one, or just follow along building the ones that I'm doing and maybe pick them up at the end of the video. Now this really applies when you have an unit or a model that you've equipped with a certain maybe a Vox or a Legion Vexilla or something like that, and you're not taking that as your war gear, or maybe it's so small that you can't remember that you've equipped your unit with that piece of equipment. So you need a little token or a little reminder that you've equipped that unit or that model with that piece of equipment, or maybe a weapon or something like that. And I'm going to show you how to make tokens or little reminders that you have done that. And it's not hard. It takes maybe 20 minutes of 3D sculpting, and yeah, anybody can do it, and it's really not as difficult as many people think it is. So let's get into it. So I'm using the program called Shaper 3D. Now I do have experience using the Windows 3D Builder, but on Windows 11, that program is no longer an option. So starting a new project, I'm going to swap over to the top facing so I can see in 2 dimensions. And the first thing I'm going to do is build a rectangle. And the rectangle doesn't have to be extremely large, or at least there are some dimensions that I want to make it. So I'm going to make it 5 millimeters wide, and I want to make it 40 millimeters long. So that is what we're looking at, and 40 millimeters is the size of a 40 millimeter base, so that's how long it is. And the width is a little shorter than if it was circular, but like this is pretty much the base start. So from here we're going to exit the sketching, because now I have this rectangle on a 2-dimensional plane and I want to extrude it. And extruding basically is either going up or down into a object. And from here I'm going to go up 3 millimeters, and I have this 3 millimeter long rectangle, 3-dimensional rectangle. Now I could make it a little thinner, maybe 2, but with what I'm going to do, I don't want to make it too thin. I also want it to have a little bit of thickness compared to something like super thin, like a acrylic token, only because I don't want it to snap very easily. So I want it to have a little bit of rigidity, a little bit of thickness, so that it doesn't get destroyed very quickly. So from here, I'm going to go back to the top again so I can see the panel lines, the X and Y axis. And if I go back into sketch, I can do a second rectangle pretty much on, I don't want a line, pretty much in the same position but inside just a little bit. And what that's going to do, it's going to be 3 millimeters thick because I'm losing a millimeter on each side, as well as 38 again millimeter on each side. And then I have another rectangle inside of this inside of here, and I can go underneath and I can select it. Now I don't want to extrude this one, I actually want to move it. So I'm going to find the move, and I'm going to move it upwards, and what I want to do is put it on top of this one. So I made this 3 millimeters thick, So now this rectangle is sitting on top of the other one, right in the same plane. And I'm actually going to extrude now. I'm going to go down, so -1 millimeter. And now I have this indent. Now what this can do is, if I decided to, which I'm not going to for the sake of this tutorial, but what I could do is I could do the same thing on this side. And instead of doing the inside rectangle, I should do the outside rectangle. So I would, so on this top piece, the inside is missing. On this side, I would make it so the outside was missing and the inside would stick up just a little bit. So it would actually extrude the middle downwards. And what that would do is allow all of these to be stacked on top of each other. Now, I don't really have any reason to do that unless I really wanted to, but or if you guys would like me to do that in the comments, let me know. But for now, I just want a flat surface on the bottom because it's going to be sitting on a flat table. And if you want them to be stackable, let me know and I can make changes really quickly and do that. So yeah, just let me know down below. So for now, all I'm going to do is I have this little basic rectangular object with an internal piece. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to the top view. Scoot over here and I'm going to do sketch again. Sketch, and I'm going to do text, and what I'm going to type here is, I'm going to put this in all capital, Legion Vexilla. I want Times New Roman. I'm going to drop this down to 1.5, maybe 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters thick. And it's bold. I'm good with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to center it right in the center of this. Okay, cool. So if I'm looking at it from a top view, I can tell that it is as center as it's going to get. I'm sure that there are some snap configurations that I could do to make it so it doesn't, like, it would have been a lot easier. But I couldn't figure out how to do that, and I didn't really want to put the effort into it. So let's find. Let's actually redo that real quick, just because I think I messed up and I want to actually move the text when I do it. Legion Vexilla, 2 millimeters long inside the center of this thing, and then I'm actually going to do it from here. I want to move this up, was it 2 millimeters? So that should put it right on top. Oh, that did not put it on top. I must have made that 0.5 millimeter. Let's do this again. Oh no, that's right. That's right. Okay, so now I'm going to select all of these letters, and I'm just holding Shift, selecting all letters. And if you select a line on accident, just double click it again, or just click it once and it'll unselect. I'm going to zoom in some here, and from here I can now extrude those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude them down probably 3.3 millimeters. And what that's going to do is leave that indented right in there. And now I have this little token that shows me that I have a Legion Vexilla on that particular unit. And all I have to do is set that little object next to my units so I can remember that they have a Vexilla. Now I'm going to do this for a Nuncio box and an augury scanner as well. I might also make circular tokens for grenades, specifically melt-a-bombs, and because I play Death Guard, rad grenades, which also applies to many other legions, but also toxin bombs. So maybe 3 circular tokens that have a melt-a-bomb, a rad bomb, and a toxin bomb. And then from there, you can put those next to either the character that's currently carrying them or the unit that currently has them attached, just so you remember that you have them. So the one last thing I want to do is I don't really want these sharp edges, only because sharp edges are kind of tough to 3D print, because I'm not going to be 3D printing this on a PLA or plastic printer. I'm going to be printing it on a resin printer because my Ender 3 is always messed up and always broken, so I don't really want to deal with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2mm fillet. It's fillet to me, at least. And what this is going to do is round these edges just so they are less intrusive when I print it. And now it kind of looks like a very elongated Pez, but if you're looking at it from a distance, it's probably the size of like 3 Pez's together. But yeah, it says Legion Vexilla. All I would do is spray it with some primer, and then I would probably just paint it over, and then put some either white or gold or some kind of bright lettering inside so you can read it from a distance. But yeah, it'll tell you exactly what your current unit has. So I'm going to do this for, like I said, Nuncio Vox and augury scanners, and then maybe a couple other things. But yeah, this is it. It's very quick, very easy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this project, Legion Vexilla, of course, caps lock, Legion Vexilla, and I'm going to save that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export as an STL file. So I'm just going to put that on the desktop, and it's ready to go. So now that I've done that, I'm going to open up. So I've opened up Leche Slicer, and I already have my resin printer configured in this program because I've used it before. And I'm just going to open up the 3D file that has the Legion Vexilla. So I'm going to open this up, and this is it. This is how tiny it is. It's not large. You can fit a bunch of these on a build plate, and you could have enough with just a single plate of printing off these little reminders of what you have. I'm going to switch it over to rotate. I have learned that 34 degrees in an angular way, so usually depending on how your object is orientated, is the best degree angle to use supports. It limits the layer lines that are visible from this angle, and it always just works usually. So for me, I don't really plan on like making these really difficult with supports and all that. All I'm actually going to do is select the object, and I'm just going to generate automatic supports. Now, like I said, this 34 degrees always seems to work for me. It always generates the best supports, and I never really have any problem. Now for me, I have more problems with my printer than I do with my supports that I usually generate, or the automatic supports that are generated. So I always just add a few more just to be safe. But yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna switch back to move. I'm gonna take a couple of these, I'm gonna duplicate them. So for this program, it's Alt-D. I'm gonna do that a few times. Probably that's 8. So I've done 8 duplicated little objects. Now I'm going to put all of them just right here. And what I usually do is I'll line my prints up, and I usually just kind of look at them from up top, and then I line up the print support rafts. And usually that works. For me, it's always been better to have things touching than not. But when you have 2 different types of supports, maybe you have 2 different objects that other creators have made, not all of the supports are the same. So some people may do these kind of supports with the circular bases, some of them might do square ones, or maybe a full raft, and you can't really mix and match those. So I would be wary about mixing and matching, or like layering on top the supports to do that. But for me, like, this is perfectly fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 of them. I don't really think I need that many more, so I'm just going to do a few more of the Vexilla ones, and then I'm going to make the Vox and the augury scanners, and that should be plenty for me. So that's 12. That's 12 units that I could put a Vexilla on and just remember that I have it, because I could put this little object next to them to remind me. Now I'm going to do the same thing, like I said, for augury scanners and boxes, melta bombs, rad bombs, and toxin grenades. And if there's anything else that you would like me to generate and make, I'm going to put all of these into one singular file. So it'll be continuously updated as I build these out. I'm only going to charge $2 for it. And it's just something helpful for everybody to use. I'm going to sell it as a STL file. I'm going to put it in my cults. I'm going to put it down in the description below. If you want to pick it up, the $2 that it's going to cost you to purchase is directly going to support continuously making content on this channel. So it's, like I said, $2 is nothing. It's really generous. And it, like I said, you saw how long it took me. It took me like 10 minutes to make. They're not difficult, and they're really helpful for beginners. Now, what I probably plan on doing is printing off a little extra and giving them to the new guys at the store, just as a gift. Like, hey, thanks for playing Horus Hersey with us, and here's a good way to remember what your units have. And I asked my group on what they would like to see, like if this was a good idea, and they all thought it was a great idea, especially for newer players, to remember that their units have Vexillas or Voxes or scanners. And because you kit your units out with the war gear, you're not always going to remember that you took it this time or you didn't take it last time. So this should help, and I hope that this helps out the community. Now, obviously, this is a little different from a normal content of painting and all of that, but I think this is something that is beneficial, and it's really going to help out the Horus Hersey community. So if you're interested in joining and playing Horus Hersey and you think that this is a good idea, please go on the Cults 3D website, pick them up. It's going to be $2 for the whole set, and I'm going to continuously add to it, so it's always going to get better. Because they are flat on the bottom, you can print these on a PLA printer with no problem, no supports needed. They'll probably take you only a little bit of time. Now, if you look down here, this is the estimated print time for this. Just these obviously, because of how resin printers are, it goes by the layers of the strata of printing upwards, which means a whole plate of these at this angle, at this height, is an hour. So if I did the rest of them, the Vexillas, the Nuncio Voxes, the augury scanners, and then circular tokens for the grenades, which will be significantly smaller, you're looking at max an hour for a whole build plate of tokens to help you remember what you've kitted your unit out with. So like I said, it's going to be an hour print. It's going to be $2 to buy the whole set, and I'm going to continuously add to it as I generate things that I think are good for the community. And yeah, if you guys think this is a good idea, if you think it's a good start, if you want it for another game, maybe Kill Team or Warhammer 40k, let me know and tell me what you want made, and I will generate some easy tokens to remind you what you have on the board or what you may have kitted your units out with. So thank you for watching. I'm going to print these out, and I'll put at the end of this video some of the examples that I've made, and just let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content. And yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If this kind of content is beneficial to you, please subscribe, consider subscribing, and share with your friends, because I want to make more and I need the incentive to do so. So the more you guys comment, the more you guys say this is great content, keep it up, the more I want to do it. So thank you so much. Thank you for making it this far in the video, and until my next video, please go out and go make a mess.